Hi, it's Dr. Pavanka. I want to talk to you a little bit about sleeping or resting respiratory rates. So these are one of those things that we typically start you with when your pet comes in and they have a heart murmur. Typically we are looking at a little bit of a difference between dog rates and cat rates, but typically it's when they have a heart murmur, we're concerned about the heart function, and a lot of times it becomes a monotonous thing because what we really want is to get that baseline of where they're at now, and we want you to continue to monitor their health through this method. We use sleeping or resting respiratory rates because the animal shouldn't be excited about anything weirded out that we're looking at them. They should be resting, not dreaming, in a nice environment that's not too hot, not too cold. And then we count every time the chest goes up and back down again as 1. So the old school way of doing that is taking your timer or your stopwatch, and for a minute sitting there and counting every time the chest wall goes up and down, the up and down being 1 time. The other thing that you can do that's a little bit easier is there are multiple smartphone apps. I will see if I can screenshot a couple of them for the end of this video so you have what they look like. But the real deal why we do this is because we're trying to make sure that everything's functioning correctly. The heart and the lungs work very closely together, making sure the whole body is oxygenated. So if we're having issues with the heart function and it's not pumping as much, we might see an increased respiratory rate. But even more than that, we do notice a drastic increase of the respiratory rate in a lot of the cases 1 to 2 months ahead of congestive heart failure, from what I've heard from cardiologists. So with this gives us a good idea if we need to do more diagnostics like chest x-rays, or even referring you to a cardiologist who can do echocardiograms and more in-depth diagnostics so that we can get your pet on medications that can help their heart pump better, and help slow down that progression of heart disease. So it's a very important tool. A lot of times it gets very monotonous because we're sitting and we're watching them sleep and seeing what their respiratory rate is when they're sleeping and not dreaming in a more ideal environment, not hot or cold. But it is very helpful because that gives us our baseline and it helps us keep an eye on if we need to be concerned, if we need to do more diagnostics, if we're ready for medications potentially. And it goes ahead and helps us keep a closer eye on how your pet's doing at home. So do let me know if you have any questions about this, but this is my kind of general quick, fast sleeping respiratory rate video. And do let me know if there's any other videos you want me to cover. Thanks.